Victor Hastings wasn't breathing right on purpose. He lay motionless on his study floor, eyes nearly closed, watching the doorway through his lashes. The shattered crystal, the spilled whiskey, the perfect setup. Footsteps approached. Closer, closer. Through the crack of his eyelids, he saw the silhouette stop in the doorway. Daniel, his housekeeper's 17-year-old son. The boy everyone trusted. The boy an anonymous letter warned him about. Victor waited for the theft, for the betrayal, for proof he'd been right all along. What happened in the next 7 minutes would shatter everything Victor Hastings believed about trust, poverty, and the invisible people who serve America's wealthy elite. Real quick, drop a comment telling us where you're watching from, and smash that subscribe button. This story will blow your mind. Now let's get back to Victor's test. Victor Hastings built a billion-dollar tech empire by trusting no one. His Manhattan penthouse was a fortress 40 floors above the rest of humanity. For 15 years, Maria Rodriguez cleaned his home. Quiet, efficient, invisible, exactly how he liked it. 6 months ago, she'd asked for something unusual. "Mr. Hastings, my son Daniel needs a quiet place to study. Our apartment in the Bronx, it's too small, too loud. Could he do homework here while I work?" Victor had hesitated but agreed. The kid stayed in the kitchen, never caused problems. Victor barely noticed him. Until 3 weeks ago when the letter arrived. Typed, anonymous, slipped under his office door. "Your housekeeper's son has been in your study. Check your safe. Test them, pretend to be unconscious. You'll see their true colors." Victor's safe contained more than money. Stock certificates, legal documents, secrets that could destroy competitors or build empires. He checked. Nothing seemed missing. But Victor had missed something important. For 3 weeks, Victor watched Daniel differently. The polite "Good afternoon, Mr. Hastings" felt calculated now. Rehearsed. Last week, something happened that made Victor's blood run cold. He'd walked past his study. The one room Maria knew was off-limits, and the door was ajar. Just slightly. And inside, for a split second, he thought he saw movement. When he entered, everything looked normal. But his desk drawer, the one with the safe combination written inside a sealed envelope, sat slightly open. Had it been open before? He couldn't remember. That's when Victor decided. He would run a test. But he had no idea this test would backfire in a way he never expected. Thursday evening, 7:30. Maria was gone. She always left at 3. But Daniel stayed late most nights, waiting for his mother's second shift to end. Victor staged the scene carefully. Crystal tumbler filled with whiskey. One accidental slip. Glass shattering. His body positioned near the desk, near the Rothko painting that concealed his safe. He lay on the Persian rug and controlled his breathing. Shallow. Weak. Then he waited. 5 minutes of silence. Victor's heart hammered. What if Daniel didn't come? What if he was wrong? Footsteps. Soft. Approaching. They stopped at the doorway. Through his barely open eyes, Victor saw Daniel's shadow fall across the floor. The boy stood frozen, backpack on one shoulder. This is it, Victor thought. Show me who you really are. 10 seconds passed. 20. Daniel didn't move. What happened next made Victor's blood run cold. "Mr. Hastings?" The voice was uncertain. Scared. More footsteps. Running now. "Mr. Hastings? Can you hear me?" The kid dropped to his knees beside Victor. Hands, trembling hands, pressed against his neck, checking for a pulse. "Oh God. Okay. You're breathing. Pulse is there." Daniel's voice cracked. "Recovery position. Put him in recovery position." Strong hands gripped Victor's shoulder and hip. With surprising precision, Daniel rolled him onto his side, tilting his head back. The kid knew first aid? "There's blood," Daniel muttered. Head wound. "Apply pressure." Victor felt something soft pressed against his temple. Daniel had taken off his own hoodie to use as a compress. "He's not going for the safe," Victor realized, his certainty wavering. "He's helping me." "Calling 911, Daniel said, voice steadier now. "Hold on, Mr. Hastings." Victor heard the kid's phone, the quick conversation. I need an ambulance at 515 Park Avenue, Penthouse B. Victor Hastings. Yes, the Victor Hastings. I found him unconscious. Head wound. I've stabilized him. Recovery position. Controlling the bleeding. A pause. Then Daniel's voice turned sharp. No, I did not touch anything. I found him and I'm helping him. How long for the ambulance? But what Daniel said next stopped Victor's heart. Then softer. Meant only for Victor. Mr. Hastings, I don't know if you can hear me, but you're gonna be okay. My mom would never forgive me if something happened to you. She says you're the best boss she's ever had. Victor's throat tightened. Help is coming, Daniel continued. Just hold on. Suddenly, a new voice. Daniel? Maria burst into the study, still in her cleaning uniform from her second job. What happened? He fell. I called 911. Mom, I did everything right. Dios mío. Maria's hand gripped Victor's, warm and calloused. Please be okay. Please be okay. But something in her voice struck Victor. Raw terror. Not the fear of losing a paycheck. The fear of losing someone she cared about. When did she start caring? Victor wondered. And why didn't I notice? The sirens wailed closer. Victor made his decision. Time to end this. But he had no idea what he was about to unleash. He groaned and opened his eyes. What happened? If you're still watching right now, you're exactly the kind of viewer I love. Subscribe so I can keep giving you stories that touch your heart. Hit that bell so you never miss what happens next. Mr. Hastings. Relief flooded Daniel's face. Don't move. You hit your head. Ambulance is. I'm fine. Victor sat up, pulling away the hoodie to reveal no wound. No blood. Daniel stared. Understanding dawned slowly, followed by something worse, betrayal. This was a test? His voice went flat. Maria's face transformed. The worry vanished, replaced by something careful and blank. The expression of someone used to disappointment. The paramedics arrived. Victor refused treatment, signed their waiver. After they left, silence filled the study like poison gas. I'll get my things, Daniel said quietly. Come on, Mom. Wait. Victor's command echoed. Then softer, please. I owe you an explanation. Neither sat. Daniel stood protectively near his mother, jaw clenched. Victor pulled the anonymous letter from his desk. Handed it to Maria. She read it, her face draining of color. Passed it to Daniel, whose hands shook as he scanned the words. Someone sent this, Victor said. And I believed it might be true. We never touched your things, Maria whispered. I know that now. Victor met her eyes. But I need to understand. Daniel, why did you really want to come here? The kid's jaw worked. For a moment, Victor thought he wouldn't answer. What Daniel said next would change everything. You want the truth? Our apartment is 300 square feet. I share a room with my two little sisters. There's no desk, no quiet space. The library closes at 6. He gestured at the study, the shelves, the silence, the view. This place is peaceful. I can think here. And yeah, maybe I wanted to see how successful people live. Maybe I wanted to study somewhere that felt like the future I'm building. Is that a crime? What future? MIT. Daniel's voice carried equal parts pride and bitterness. Early admission. Full scholarship. Biomedical engineering. I start in September. If I can figure out how to afford the supplies and travel the scholarship doesn't cover. Victor's eyebrows rose. MIT? Daniel, that's... Don't. The kid's voice cracked. Don't act impressed now. You spent tonight testing me like I'm a criminal. Like we're all just waiting to steal from you. Daniel, Maria warned. But Daniel wasn't finished. And what he said next hit Victor like a punch to the gut. No, Mom. He needs to hear this. Daniel's eyes blazed. You live in a $40 million penthouse. You have more money than God. And you think we're the problem? That we're gonna take something from you? He stepped forward, voice rising. My mom works 2 jobs. 15 hours a day. She's 52 and her back hurts every night from scrubbing floors. And we're grateful for the opportunity to work for someone like you. You know how messed up that is. You're right, Victor said. The admission stopped Daniel cold. You're absolutely right. Victor's voice was steady. I have more than I could spend in 5 lifetimes. And I was so paranoid about protecting it that I forgot to see the people around me. Your mother has worked for me for 15 years. I couldn't tell you her favorite color or what her dreams are. He turned to Maria. I'm sorry. For my blindness. For my cruelty. Maria's eyes filled. Blue, she whispered. My favorite color is blue. And my dream? Is Daniel at MIT. My daughter's graduating high school. That's everything. Something cracked in Victor's chest. But this wasn't the real twist yet. The person who sent this letter, he said slowly, wanted me to distrust you, to fire you, which means someone knows you're valuable, even if I've been too blind to see it. His mind raced. Someone who knows my household. Someone with access. Then it hit him. Your ex-wife, Maria asked quietly. Victor's head snapped up. What? What Maria revealed next made everything click into place. The woman who visited last month. Margaret, you called her. She asked questions. How long I'd worked here. If you'd ever seemed unstable. If you'd ever done anything erratic. Victor's blood went cold. She asked you that? And she talked to Daniel too, Maria added. Asked him if he'd ever been in your study. If you seemed paranoid about your things. Daniel nodded. I thought she was just making conversation. But she was fishing for information. Wasn't she? She's contesting our divorce settlement, Victor said, the pieces falling into place. If she could prove I'm paranoid, making irrational decisions like firing loyal staff for no reason, she could reopen the case, Daniel finished. Claim you weren't mentally fit when you signed. So she tried to manipulate you into firing us. Maria's voice was soft. Said, make you look unstable. And instead, she showed me what matters. Victor looked at them both. You have something I'd forgotten existed. Integrity. Character without calculation. But Victor wasn't done. What he did next shocked them both. He crossed to his desk, pulled out his checkbook, an old habit in a digital world. Daniel, how much do you need for MIT? I don't want charity. It's not charity. Victor's voice was firm but gentle. It's an investment. In someone who, when he found a man unconscious, didn't hesitate, didn't steal, didn't run. He helped. Daniel's throat worked. 5,000 would cover it. Victor started writing. The scratch of pen on paper filled the silence. When Daniel saw the amount, he couldn't believe his eyes. $50,000? Daniel's voice broke. Mr. Hastings, I can't. The extra is for your sister's college. And your mother's retirement. Victor handed the check to Maria. You've given me 15 years. This doesn't repay that. But it's a start. Tears streamed down her face. I don't know what to say. Say you'll come back tomorrow. Say you'll forgive a paranoid old fool. You're not old, Daniel said, a smile finally breaking through. Paranoid, maybe? Victor laughed. A real laugh, rusty from years of disuse. But there was one more revelation still to come. 2 months later, Victor's lawyer found the evidence buried in Margaret's emails. The private investigator. The planted letter. The scheme to document erratic behavior. It backfired. The judge not only dismissed her case but awarded Victor a more favorable settlement. Victor could have destroyed her. Instead, he let it go. She's already lost more than any court could take, he told his lawyer. But the real change happened quietly in the weeks that followed. Victor started seeing people. Really seeing them. James, the doorman, 20 years in the building, grandkids in Jersey, loved jazz. Svetlana at the dry cleaners, saving to bring her sister from Ukraine. He set up scholarship funds for their children. Hired Daniel part-time to digitize his archives, real work, real pay. Most importantly, he talked to Maria. Learned about her hometown in Oaxaca. Her grandmother's mole recipe. How she'd crossed the border with nothing but hope and arrived legally after 10 years of saving and paperwork. One evening, Victor found Daniel in the study, staring at the Rothko. I bought that for $6 million 12 years ago, Victor said. Want to know a secret? I never really looked at it. It was just an investment. And now? Daniel asked. Now I think it's about things in conflict that somehow belong together. Wealth and poverty. Power and service. Isolation and connection. Deep stuff for a tech billionaire, Daniel teased. I had a good teacher. Victor smiled. A kid who taught me that character isn't about money. It's about what you do when no one's watching. But you were watching. That was the whole test. I was, Victor admitted. But you didn't know that. You thought you were alone. And your first instinct was to help. No calculation. Just humanity. But then Daniel revealed something that made Victor's heart stop. Daniel was quiet. Then, you know what's crazy? I actually was in here before that night. Victor's heart stopped. What? 2 months earlier. Looking for a stapler. The door was open. I came in, grabbed one from your desk, and left. 30 seconds. But you didn't. What Daniel said next brought tears to Victor's eyes. I didn't look around. Didn't touch anything else. Didn't even notice that $1 million painting. Daniel met his eyes. My mom raised me to respect other people's spaces. That's not about being poor or rich. That's just being decent. Victor's throat tightened. Your mother raised an exceptional son. She raised me to see people, not bank accounts, Daniel said softly. Maybe that's something you're learning too. Victor nodded, unable to speak. 2 years later, Victor sat in an MIT auditorium watching Daniel walk across the stage to receive the Henderson Award for Outstanding Achievement in Biomedical Engineering. Beside him sat Maria and her daughters, now honor students with full college funds waiting. At dinner, Daniel raised his glass. To second chances. And people who learn to see. To people who give us reasons to change, Victor countered. You saved my life that night, Daniel. Not from a fall. From myself. Maria smiled through tears. You're making me cry in public, Mr. Hastings. Please call me Victor. Never, she said warmly. That's respect. But now it goes both ways. As the evening filled with laughter and dreams, Victor thought about the anonymous letter meant to divide them. The test meant to reveal betrayal that revealed nobility instead. Sometimes you don't discover who people are when you test them. You discover who you are. And Victor had almost lost the only things that mattered, the people who saw him as human, not as a bank account, who thought he was worth saving, even when he couldn't see them the same way. Victor Hastings spent his life building empires. But the night he pretended to sleep, he learned the truest measure of wealth. It's not what you can afford to buy. It's what you can't afford to lose. If the story moved you, smash that like button and share it. Comment about a time someone surprised you with their character. We read everyone. And remember, how we treat people when we think nobody's watching. That's who we really are. Subscribe for more stories that restore your faith in humanity. See you in the next one.